Does anyone out there know what's happening at Halas Hall? Because it's very silent right now. I'm going to dive in and explore on that. A new head coach candidate has emerged for teams, maybe the Bears if they change head coaches. Jaylon Johnson, he hints at a return. Are things trending in the right direction? Lots to dive into on Chicago Bears now. Be sure to subscribe to the channel because we publish daily videos. We are on the cusp of 85,000 subscribers, just over 500 away. Help us get there if you want daily content throughout this offseason. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's dive into today's show. You're watching Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Lots to discuss here today. And look, organizations operate differently. Awkward start by me. Let's start over. I just want to know what the hell is going on with the Bears. And I don't want to read too much into this. And I can appreciate taking your time and making tough decisions, not making light of those. But is it not bizarre that we haven't even heard an inkling of a report of what the Bears are going to do since the game ended on Sunday? Because heading into the Packers game, it was all Matt Eberflus is likely safe. Matt Eberflus, has this team trending in the right direction. The chatter was, maybe they move on from Luke Getsy. We've heard nothing since the season ended. So here's what we do know, that no coaching moves have been announced yet. Head coach, OC, assistant coaches, nothing. We do know that players had their exit interviews on Monday. We also do know this, and I do appreciate this, that Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren have both been described as very measured, logical people. They're not going to, make rash decisions, if you will. We also know that at some point this week, a press conference is going to take place, although I don't think a time has been officially announced. We're supposed to hear from Kevin Warren. I would assume Ryan Poles as well. It's getting interesting is all I'm going to say because, again, I think going into that Packers game, it was 90 to 95% chance Matt Eberflus is going to return, barring a blowout loss. Obviously, the Bears didn't get blown out on the scoreboard, but the raw stats show that they did get blown out by the Packers, and I'm just starting to wonder, could they be considering a move? Is something in the works at Halas Hall, or is this just their timeline, their schedule, and, they don't owe anyone anything, which they don't, obviously. Matt Eberflus may not be as safe as we think. That's at least something I'm wondering. And quite frankly, I don't think he should feel like he's that safe. We've discussed the reasons why. We'll dive into that a little bit more as well, and especially now that this coaching candidate pool looks pretty strong. I don't know, man. I'm wondering if maybe, just maybe, Kevin Warren, a guy who's been described as someone who's willing to swing big, is going to swing in there and leave his mark on this decision and potentially lean toward moving on from Matt Eberflus. So what do you guys think? Do you think Matt Eberflus gets fired? Type a Y for yes, or you can type an N for no. I think it's closer to 50-50 than it was 3 days ago. I'll tell you that. Pin comment on today's show. Let me know what you guys think. Mike Vrabel is out in Tennessee in a stunning move. The Titans have fired their head coach, and I do think this is a pretty stunning move. I did not see this one coming. I did not know what was going to happen here. At most, I thought they would trade him, but they said trying to trade him would have been too difficult in terms of a timeline to try and get other coaches to start interview, but definitely a bizarre one for a guy with a strong resume. I mean, well above 500 in Tennessee, 2 division championships, went to an AFC championship game in another season, was the number 1 seed in the AFC, got upset in the divisional round by Cincinnati, but that's a pretty good resume for someone who never had a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. Like, that's pretty impressive for Mike Vrabel. Now, logic points to New England. Don't get me wrong, and I would give that. If the Patriots move on from Belichick, I'd say it's 95% they're going to hire Mike Vrabel. But I'd love to have him in Chicago. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I would absolutely take Mike Vrabel in Chicago in a heartbeat. So certainly interesting. And again, when you think of Matt Eberflus, the coaching pool is starting to get a whole lot stronger. We're introducing a new sponsor here on today's show. That is Mando. Go to shopmando.com, get $5 off your first purchase. You're probably asking, what is Mando? You've probably heard of it before, the phrase New Year, New Me. But in 2024, it's New Year, No Stink. Today's show is sponsored by Mando. From the makers of Lume Deodorant, Mando is here to make sure this year you showcase your best hygiene. If you suffer from stinky feet, stinky armpits, or even smell below the belt, then Mando is here for you, as the Mando doctor developed a clinically proven odor blocker. New customers get $5 off their starter pack with code CHAT at shopmando.com. The starter pack includes a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like body wash and deodorant wipes, among other things, plus free shipping. Don't be the smelly guy in the car when traveling anymore. Ditch the stink and get going with Mando today. Again, shopmando.com. Use code CHAT. That's going to get you $5 off. You got the cream right here. All this stuff going to fit in your travel case. It's code CHAT at shopmando.com. Don't stink anymore. Get going with Mando. And now when you look at some of the coaching candidates, to me, I think these 3 coaches stand out, and for sure the top 2 are guys without hesitation that I would take over Matt Eberflus. Jim Harbaugh just won the national championship. You guys know where I stand. I've been on this for months. I want him to be the Bears head coach. I think he wants to return to the NFL. We'll see what happens. Mike Vrabel, again, I think it's strong Patriots lean, but what if they keep Belichick? Then, I think someone's going to hire him. Why not the Bears? And Ben Johnson, while yes, it would be a first-time head coach, I think if you are going to make a change and it's not going to be for someone super established like a Mike Vrabel, then going offense makes a lot of sense, whether you keep Justin Fields or draft a quarterback number 1 overall, get a guy that can grow with said quarterback. And that's just how I feel. Like, if you told me right now that if the Bears fire Matt Eberflus today, you're guaranteed one of Jim Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel, or Ben Johnson, sign me up. Now, of course, that's not a guarantee, but is the Bears not the most attractive opening if it opens up? You're a team on the rise. You're in a big market. You have the number 1 overall pick. You've got $60+ million in cap space. Like, with the right direction, this team should win 10+ games next year. You were 3 colossal meltdowns from winning 10 this year. And I've said it. Jim Harbaugh would have had this team in the playoffs this year. I truly do believe that. And so again, it's not as much about Matt Eberflus. It's more so about what I think Jim Harbaugh can do, what I think Mike Vrabel can do. Ben Johnson's unproven as a head coach, but I think he would be an upgrade as well. Matt Eberflus is 10-24 as a head coach. Like, I get year 1 was kind of a throwaway, but he blew several games this year. He's 0-4 against the Packers. Like, are we really that terrified of losing Matt Eberflus? Like, we got to swing bigger than this, guys. What is the best candidate out there in your minds? Is it Jim Harbaugh? If so, type JH. If you think it's Mike Vrabel, type MV. Or if you're going to roll with Ben Johnson, type BJ. Let me know in the comment section who you think the best coaching candidate out there is. All right, Jaylon Johnson. Man, this is really taking a 180 as he heavily hinted, I'd say even more than hinted, at a return to the Bears, as he is set to be a free agent this offseason. But based on this quote, I don't think he would even hit free agency, which, to be frank, I don't think that would happen anyway, because I think worst-case scenario, he gets franchise tag. But he said this on his weekly appearance on 670 The Score. He says, I think we get a deal done. I expect to get a deal done, let's say that. I'm confident and expect to get a deal done in Chicago. First of all, I love this. The shift in positive direction here, it appears, with Jaylon Johnson is huge. Keeping him is vital. I think we saw in that Packers game when he couldn't give it a go with that shoulder injury. They still need him. Yes, Tyreek Stevenson played awesome down the stretch as a rookie, and Terrell Smith showed some good things. But I don't think you're ready to go with the Terrell Smith, Tyreek Stevenson outside combo full-time quite yet. Like, I think this unit with Jaylon Johnson as your number 1, Stevenson as your other outside guy, Gordon as your nickel, then Terrell Smith as your CB4, that's a whole lot better than if you dump Jaylon Johnson and slide everybody else up a peg. Like, that's how I feel about that situation. So at the end of the day, I think you bring back Jaylon Johnson, and then you got potentially a special group. I mean, all 4 of those guys played well this year, but it's a domino effect. It's like taking away a number 1 receiver. Sure, a number 2 guy is really good when the number 1 guy is out there, but when the number 2 has to be the number 1, it doesn't look as good, because then the number 3, who's now the number 2, gets picked on, and all of a sudden it just does not look the same. So If I'm the Bears, I'm getting this deal done. It sounds like Jaylon Johnson's feeling a lot more positive about it, considering he asked for a trade before the trade deadline because he was so unhappy with the contract negotiations. It certainly feels like that discussion has trended in the right direction. And look, there's a reason PFF graded him as the highest-rated corner in the NFL this year because the guy was locked down. He did not give up completions. He did not give up a touchdown. 4 picks this year, career high. So really, really good stuff, and it certainly seems to be trending in the right direction for Jaylon Johnson. Hopefully an extension gets announced before franchise tag stuff, free agency, all of that as well. If you want Jaylon Johnson back, type 33 in the comments below. Get the 33s rolling right now because, yeah, I want Jaylon Johnson back in the Navy and Orange. There's no doubt about it. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. Go check out Mando Plus. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow. More videos. We'll be back tonight if there's any significant news. So lots to dive into moving forward. Bear down.